Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Sculpture Soirée. We're so excited that you're all here joining us today. Hopefully, the sound is going away soon. It seems we've got a little leftover music from the silent auction there, but we're going to get started now. In an effort to make us feel like we're all together, we thought it'd be fun by starting out with a little poll to see who's in the audience and where everybody's tuning in from. So in just a second, poll is going to display. And just fill it out. Let us know if you're in New Canaan, or maybe if you're outside New Canaan, but you're still in New England, or maybe tuning in from farther away outside the US or even internationally. We'll see the poll results as they come in. We're just going to relaunch that really quickly. So again, let us know where you're tuning in from. Hopefully that allows us to get a better sense of where you're tuning in from, make us feel like we're a little bit more together in this virtual world that we're living in now. All right, results are coming in. Give folks a few more seconds to click around. All right, perfect. And if you're not in New Canaan, maybe use the chat window. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We'll be able to see who's tuning in from the farthest, who's here in New Canaan, and the rest of the region. Perfect. So let's see results. Looks like obviously the majority of us are from New Canaan. We've got about 4 people tuning in from not in New England, and another 9 tuning in from not in New Canaan. Somebody from Duxbury, Mass. That's pretty cool. We've got a New York City attendee. All right, so mostly New Canaan. Awesome, great. So now that we know where everybody's tuning in from, let's get things started. Welcome to our Summer Sculpture Soirée. My name is Aaron Lefland, and I'm the Executive Director of the New Canaan Land Trust. And I'll also be your MC this evening. I'm joined here by my better half, Charlotte, who I'll have come into the frame here. She's doing some tech help for us. And just as a shout out, she is responsible for this sleek haircut that you all get to look at this evening. I'm so happy you're all here and that we're joined by, let's see, we're up to 84 participants so far, so maybe some more will join us as the evening moves on. But we are here to celebrate the incredible art installation that is the New Canaan Sculpture Trail. We're here to celebrate the start of summer. And before we get started, I also think it's important that we celebrate the historic events that happened today on Juneteenth, specifically the emancipation of enslaved people just over 150 years ago. As well, today and every day, we should also take some time to celebrate the Native tribes whose land we live, work, and play on. And as we enjoy our time together, let's be sure to recognize our past and our place and our privilege. Almost a year ago, we first began thinking about some sort of outdoor installation that would allow folks to engage with our properties and engage with the Land Trust. And so we want to thank our partners, the Carriage Barn Art Center, our 9 amazing artists, our sponsors and our co-chairs, Beth Sanford and Nancy Bemis. Thanks to all those folks, we've been able to turn that idea into a reality. I also want to express my deep gratitude to the sponsors of the Sculpture Trail and this event. Those include our lead sponsor, the Harlan and Lois Anderson Family Foundation, our supporting sponsors, AP Construction Company, the Stuart Higley Foundation, and the Town of New Canaan, and our media sponsor, Serendipity Magazine. Their generosity made this project possible and ensured that our membership contributions continue supporting the Land Trust's core programs. I'd also like to thank the many families who purchased tickets to our original in-person event, whose names you can see there. Every single one of them donated the original value of their ticket. We're really sad that we couldn't have done an in-person event back in April, but we're really hoping that this virtual celebration makes up for it. We're going to pack a lot into the next hour, but before we get going, I want to mention a few things to ensure that you can enjoy and participate in everything that we have planned. I know that everybody's become a Zoom expert over the past few months, but as a reminder, we ask that you ensure your microphone is muted and that your video is turned off. We'll use those features a little bit later in the interactive portion of our evening. Also, you want to make sure that you're in speaker view rather than gallery view. And we're going to be doing a little bit of video streaming. So to ensure that you have the highest quality video and the best bandwidth, we really want to make sure that no other applications are open on your computer. So Zoom should ideally be the only thing open. Ideally, you can find a spot that's nice and close to your routers so that you get the best internet, but find a comfy spot and get ready for a lot. Later on, we'll be using some other features of Zoom that might be new to you, but we'll give some instructions as the time comes. The other piece of technology that we're going to be using this afternoon is our silent auction and fund a need website. So you'll see a graphic for that displaying right now. We're going to be using a website that's incredibly mobile friendly. And so we encourage you to use your smartphone to view and bid on the items while keeping Zoom open on your computer. And so to start seeing those items, you can just take your phone, which is already QR code enabled, open the camera app and snap a shot right on your computer screen. That'll take you right to the website on your mobile device. You don't need to install any special apps. Your camera is QR code ready as long as you've got a smartphone. And then once on the site, you can scroll through the auction items and place bids. And more of this information is going to be posted in the chat window just in case you have a little technology glitch and want to be able to go back and look at things. So before I turn it over, I do want to note that the proceeds from this event will help to support the Land Trust's paid summer internship for local high school students, which right now is experiencing a funding shortfall. Now more than ever, we're really committed to providing a rewarding experience for New Canaan's youth. And later on, we'll also be raising funds to employ local college students whose summer plans were impacted by the current health crisis. So with all the business out of the way, let's get things started. I'm pleased to welcome Land Trust President Tom Cronin to kick things off.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you all for joining us. It is really nice to see so many familiar faces and some new, all here to support the New Canaan Land Trust and to celebrate our Sculpture Trail. As Aaron mentioned, we've been working on the Sculpture Trail for nearly a year. Back then, we could never have imagined what was in store for us in 2020. Yet the Sculpture Trail seems particularly relevant as folks are traveling less and looking for ways to get out of the house and connect with the natural world. So thanks to you, the Land Trust can protect and maintain nearly 400 acres of open space and miles of trails for our community to enjoy. As you may know, tomorrow is the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, one of my favorite days of the year. But it feels like it's been one of the longest years of my life with all that's going on. So with that in mind, I would like to offer a toast to your health and your well-being. And I'd like to thank you again for all your support. But in order to do that, we're going to need a drink. So I've asked Nick Marchenko of the South End Restaurant to join us to get this celebration started. Nick?
Hello, everyone. I'm Nick Marchenko. I am the chef and owner of South End and Uncorked Restaurant here in New Canaan. We're happy to be teaming up with the New Canaan Land Trust to celebrate tonight's opening of the New Canaan Sculpture Trail. I know many of you have picked up our curated appetizer selection and our specialty cocktail kit. We handpicked these items to pair with the theme of the evening, the Sculpture Soirée, and have invited our popular bartender, Ursula, to show us how to make tonight's Summer Sculpture Sipper. I can't wait until Ursula tries to pronounce that. Let's go inside and see Ursula.
Thanks, Nick, and hello everyone here in New Canaan, South End. Tonight I'll be showing you how to make our summer sculpture sipper. Please follow me, or just how to make this drink, or just pour yourself whatever you like, and on this beautiful Friday evening. So the drink is made with tequila. We're using about 2 ounces tequila. Whatever you like, could be Blanco. I'm using Reposado because it has nice, really nice deep flavor. First squeeze lime juice, about an ounce. Chili simple syrup, which is made with water, sugar, serrano chilies, and lime zest for this nice fresh flavor. And we're using about 1 ounce. Shaking very well. And I'm sorry, I forgot about grapefruit juice with 1 ounce of fresh squeezed grapefruit juice. Squeeze it, shaking well, pouring over ice. And finishing with club soda and garnish with grapefruit juice. Please enjoy. And this summer sculpture sipper on your patio and your home on this beautiful Sunday summer evening. Thank you very much, and hopefully see you soon at South End here at the bar. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ursula. I can't wait to enjoy this. And sorry, folks, that we had a little technical difficulty. Hopefully you were able to mix your drink up. We'll give you one more second here. We've actually got a guest appearance from former Land Trust board member and chairman of the New Canaan Town Council, John Engel, who's going to be making a toast from Town Hall. So hold off 1 second, we'll get started.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Tom Cronin. Hey, Ursula. If I wasn't here in front of Town Hall, I think I'd be down at the South End asking for a summer sipper from Ursula. But here I am. My ice cubes are melting on the front lawn of Town Hall, and I'm here to raise a glass to the Land Trust, which has been such an awesome partner for the town of New Canaan. The town of New Canaan really needs the Land Trust more than ever right now, and really needs your innovation with ideas like Gilbert Borrow's sculpture here and the entire sculpture trail. I think everybody in New Canaan has, because of the lockdown, been missing our parks, missing our land trust more than ever. And the fact that we can get out, and we are getting out and visiting these green spaces again, and we're all reappreciating the land trust. This sculpture trail kickoff couldn't come at a better time. We need it, and we thank the Land Trust for being such a great partner. So I just want to raise my glass to the chairs, Nancy Bemis and Beth Stanford. I want to raise it to Aaron Lefland for his leadership, and Tom Cronin, the president. You guys are doing a great job. I want to raise my glass with the other 84 people from around the world who are visiting us now, maybe some of you for the first time coming to New Canaan virtually. Come on down, experience our land trust, experience the sculpture trail. We've got room for all of you. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks so much, John. And again, thanks to the folks at South End for the delicious cocktail and the delicious appetizers for folks that purchased those. So let's raise a glass and enjoy a sip of our summer sculpture sipper. Oh, good, delicious. Exactly what I need in these lights. Ooh. So I suppose the silver lining to these events is that you can have as many drinks as you want and not really have to worry about driving home. So let's sit back, have a drink or three, and enjoy a short sculpture trail highlight video.
Summer and the New Canaan Sculpture Trail is finally here. Created to commemorate Earth Day's 50th anniversary, now an inspiration in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Celebrating the connection between art and nature, celebrating New Canaan's special places. Over the course of 5 months, 9 amazing artists created 8 remarkable sculptures at Land Trust Preserves, the Carriage Barn Art Center, and at New Canaan Town Hall.
After Alex sculpture, displayed before you is a kinetic sculpture made of stainless steel and highly polished stainless steel spheres.
It's a very rectangular form in one way, so there's a contrast to the trees around it, but it also blends at the same time because it is constructed out of raw 2x4 wood, right? So it has actually a connection with the land without trying to imitate the land.
This is the Seven Circuit Classic Labyrinth, which is perhaps one of the oldest labyrinth structures around. It's a free path, it's an open path, and it's one that once you've chosen, you can follow without distraction. And that allows you to be able to internalize some of your thoughts.
Is of an abstracted contemporary tree inspired by nature. This tree does not compete with natural trees, but act as a modern complement.
For me, is like a puzzle or a pixelated composition, but I would rather have people come up to it and get what they want to get out of it.
It does celebrate nature by virtue of seeing the participant in nature reflected and refracted in the portal.
His arches, these organic shapes sort of lead up to this wonderful blossoming bloom. I hope people, when they walk by or jog by or walk with their dog, will look at the surrounding in a different way than they did before.
Sculpture in some ways can get people away from the screen for a couple of minutes and try and engage with a physical object that someone created and find it meaningful.
This year has brought many challenges, along with silver linings. We hope our New Canaan Sculpture Trail inspires you to get outside and enjoy the beauty of nature. We look forward to seeing you out on the trail.
Wow, what an amazing way to capture the beauty of the installations and our town's incredible open space. Many thanks to New Canaan High School alum Nico Savini for working with the Land Trust to produce that video. Remember his name because Nico is definitely going places in the cinematography world. And for those of you who might have had a little bit of buffering during the video, do know that we're going to post that on YouTube. You'll be able to experience it sort of in the full HD video that it was captured in. Streaming services are just a little tricky to work with sometimes. But moving on, as you probably know, the Sculpture Trail and all those amazing sculptures that you just saw, this whole project was a collaboration between the Land Trust and the Carriage Barn Art Center. So I'd like to introduce Hillary Whitman, Executive Director of the Carriage Barn, to say a few words.
Thanks, Aaron. The New Canaan Sculpture Trail is a first for New Canaan and an exciting exhibit that unites art and nature. After putting out our prospectus, we received close to 80 submissions from artists from throughout the region. And with help from Richard Klein, from the Director of Exhibitions at the Aldrich Museum, and from Teo Lanzazero, the President of the Sculptors Guild in New York City, we selected the 8 sculptures that are on view on the trail now. It's been an incredible partnership between the Carriage Barn and the Land Trust, and I hope we'll be able to make this exhibit a new New Canaan tradition. Aaron?
Thank you, Hillary. To learn more about each of the sculptures, we encourage you to download the AutoCast app, which was made possible by the team at William Ravis Real Estate in New Canaan. There you'll find directions to each of the installations, you'll hear recordings from the artists, and a lot more great information about the Sculpture Trail. I'd also like to mention that a number of the sculptures are available for sale, and others are available for commission. So imagine having Carlos Davila's Sugar Maple or Joe Churchirillo's Ring Tower complementing your garden or patio. Quite an addition. If you're interested in learning more, please reach out to the Land Trust and we can help facilitate. Over the next few minutes, we're going to hear from a few of the artists whose works are featured on the Sculpture Trail. Each artist will be introduced by a Land Trust board member who recently visited one of the sculptures, and we'll share a few words about the location and the sculptures that are on display. Following those clips, we'll cut to live flash talks from the artists whose sculptures we just visited. So we'll start with Beth Sanford, who's a Land Trust board member and co-chair of the Sculpture Trail project. Let's hear what Beth has to say.
Thanks, Aaron. Hi, everybody. I'm Beth Sanford, co-chair of the New Canaan Sculpture Trail and board member of the Land Trust. I'm here at the Calhoun Preserve on Davenport Ridge, where behind me in this beautiful meadow, you can see Matthias Newman's sculpture, Basics number 39. I have had the honor and wonderful experience of helping bring to life the idea of connecting art and open space through our sculpture trail. What I love most about the Calhoun Preserve, besides this meadow, is the trail that meanders over walkways through wetlands and then leads you into the woodlands, where you can even find a solitary bench in the middle of the woods. Now that's a great place to take a repose and enjoy our natural surroundings. We invite you to come visit this wonderful preserve and Matthias Newman's Basic 39. I've had the pleasure of working with Matthias throughout the process. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Matthias Newman is a German-born architect who teaches at the Sprinzer School of Architecture at the City College of New York. Over the past several years, Matthias has expanded from architecture to include museum and gallery-based work, and recently to the creation of landscape-based interactive works and his Basics series. We are thrilled to have Matthias Newman join us from his home in New York live to tell us a few things about his work. Let's say hello to Matthias Newman.
Thank you, Beth, and thank you for having me in New Canaan, at least virtually. My name is Matthias Neumann. I'm an architect and artist, originally from Germany, but I'm based in New York City for the last 20 years. Basics number 39 is part of an ongoing series of works that have been realized over the last 5 years throughout the United States. The installation, including the installation at Colon Preserve, are all temporary public art installations, and the series is very much informed by its public presence and its temporary existence. Every installation in this series is unique and responds to its site. However, the work series shares a material language and an attitude through the use of 2x4 lumber. The material choice is important to the work in more than one respect. It allows for easy and relative cheap construction. It's material that is part of the everyday, and therefore it's accessible and familiar to a broad public and reflects the temporality of the nature of the installation. It does not pretend to aspire to last forever, and the material can and will be recycled after the end of the installation. With that, and if you should have more questions, please refer to me directly, that's fine. But with that, I'm handing back to Aaron. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Matthias. Now we're going to head over to our Watson-Symington Preserve to hear from the other Sculpture Trail co-chair, Nancy Bemis.
Thanks, Aaron. Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy Bemis, and I'm on the board of the New Canaan Land Trust. I'm visiting with you today from the Watson-Symington Preserve. This preserve holds special meaning for me. It's where my son, John, did his Eagle project in 2016, and at that time, I was first introduced to the Land Trust and all the great work it does. Since then, he helped the artist, Christopher Kazmarek, install the labyrinth that you see here. Many of you may know that the labyrinth has been around for over 4,000 years and has been expressed through coins, bronze, stone tablets, but its intended form is as a physical space made out of natural materials such as stone, plantings, or other mediums. What's common among labyrinths is its single spiral course, a winding, meandering path that allows the viewer to focus solely on the journey and not the destination. Doing so enables the participant to become calm and relaxed. We've been so delighted to see our visitors here at New Canaan Land Trust Watson-Symington participate and interact with the labyrinth since it's been installed, including our own New Canaan gorilla. Wow. Hey, gorilla, how you doing today? That's great. I guess we'll have to add that to one of the wildlife sightings here at the New Canaan Land Trust. You don't see that every day. I wish our artist, Christopher Kazmarek, was here to see this. We'll be joining him in a few minutes. But first, let me tell you a little bit about him. Chris is an artist and an educator whose work includes both experimental and traditional sculpture practices, including installation, performance, video, built circuits, solar-powered objects. His works are designed to guide the viewer towards a deeper contemplation about both technology and the inhabited environment. So let's join him now. Christopher?
A special thanks to Nancy for that great introduction and the New Canaan Gorilla for that special cameo. A wonderfully distinct and absurd honor indeed. And also a sincere thanks to Beth and Aaron for all of their work on making this trail a reality. They did a lot of heavy lifting there. And speaking of heavy lifting, I also need to thank my wife Patricia and Nancy's son John, who she mentioned in that introduction, both of whom were a great help in the creation of this labyrinth. And a super special personal thanks to all of you attending this event. Your participation is a recognition of the arts as an essential part of a healthy life and a healthy society, and your support of the Sculpture Trail is greatly appreciated. Most specifically, your support of the labyrinth, as it is the work that I'm honored to have as a part of this Sculpture Trail. The labyrinth is, as Nancy mentioned, an ancient form, a form used across the world and by almost every culture. And as an artist, I'm drawn to this form as a tool for engagement and participation. In its simplicity, a labyrinth creates a welcoming and comfortable space for individuals to participate directly with the work. And one of the things I love about the labyrinth and its structure for engagement is that it's clearly about creating not just a space, but also a time for contemplation. What the subject of that contemplation is created by two things: the space in which the labyrinth is installed and the individual walking the labyrinth. For this labyrinth, you cannot help but to have an enhanced connection with the natural environment in which it is situated. As you follow the singular path, turning back and forth, navigating the line of the labyrinth, viewing and reviewing the clearing in the woods, it becomes a part of your consciousness. And as to what the person walking the labyrinth brings to it, well, that's up to you. For some, it's a chance to set out with an intention or a question. For most, it works best when you don't try to answer that question, but just walk with the question and see how it changes and reveals more of itself with each footstep. And now, more than ever, in these times of much uncertainty and stress, the opportunity to take time for and to engage with spaces for calm contemplation and to connect with our environment through the arts is all the more important. So, if you have not already had the chance to visit the Watson-Symington Preserve and walk the labyrinth, please accept my humble invitation to do so. Everyone is welcome. And with that, I have the pleasure of turning things back over to you, Aaron.
Yes. So our next video here, just find my place, features Kristen Cottrell, who is one of our more recent board members. And Kristen made a trip to the Green Link to visit Bloom. So we'll cue up that video.
Thanks, Aaron. I'm joining you here today from the Green Link, one of the most recent additions to the Land Trust portfolio. The Green Link traverses 3 individual Land Trust parcels, and importantly, it connects Irwin Park with the New Canaan Nature Center, allowing visitors to walk from Irwin Park through the Green Link to the Nature Center and continue on through downtown New Canaan. The Green Link is also home to one of our most recent sculptures in the New Canaan Sculpture Trail, Bloom. Bloom celebrates the blossoming and undulating patterns found in nature. I was here this morning with my 8-year-old daughter. She tells me it's one of her favorites. I'm convinced that children of all ages will enjoy Bloom this summer at the Green Link. Bloom was created by a sculpture team of 2. This evening, I'm excited to introduce Elizabeth Knowles. Elizabeth has worked with Bill Thielen for 7 years to create site-specific works that change in size and shape each time they are installed. They respond to the form and configuration of the landscape, with arches grouping in and out of trees and plant growth, resulting in an endless possibility of color, form, and fusion. I'm thrilled to welcome Elizabeth this evening, live from Northwestern Connecticut.
This blossom is surrounded by these meandering pathways of curved arches. Bill created the network of arches by wrapping colorful flagging tape around these wire shapes, and I created the cone-shaped blooms by weaving wire fencing together and then painting them with different acrylic paints and gel. We work individually in our studios, hundreds of miles apart. He's in Illinois, I'm in New York City. We share ideas and we have an overall plan, but we really don't know what we're going to do to get to the site and begin installing. And I liken our process to 2 jazz musicians coming together and improvising and ripping off of each other's repertoire. This time, however, with COVID-19, we had some challenges. Bill couldn't travel, and the cell signal at the site was so weak I couldn't even FaceTime him. So without being able to have a proper dialogue, we had to take these disparate elements, the arches and the cone shapes, and somehow integrate them together to form a coherent whole, which we still needed to be sensitive to the environmental study of the site. And maybe it's because we know each other really well and have worked together a long time, or maybe a little clairvoyance was in play, but somehow, in spite of the long distance and the low bandwidth, the installation came together. And we really hope that in this time of upheaval and isolation, that Bloom brightens your day with its swaying color and vibrant shapes, and invites you to look a little more closely at the site and view it with fresh eyes. Aaron?
And thanks again to all of the artists who are here today, as well as the artists who are part of the Sculpture Trail. It's been amazing working with you all. You all have amazing creative energy, and it's been so great to kind of, me as the science person, get to interact with you folks with the creative brain there and see how land and art interact, and just great rewarding experience for, I think, both of us. So without further ado, I guess we are going to introduce our evening's celebrity appearance. At this point, she probably needs no introduction, but I'm so honored that the New Canaan native, Allison Williams, is here with us this evening. You might recognize her from her critically acclaimed performance in the film Get Out, or her role in the HBO series Girls. Allison was born and raised in New Canaan and spent her early years exploring the woods around what is now the Green Link and the New Canaan Nature Center. In fact, she's a third-generation New Canaanite. So please join me in welcoming Allison Williams to our Summer Sculpture Soirée.
Thank you, Aaron, and good evening to everyone tuning in. It is so great to be with you as we all celebrate the opening of the Sculpture Trail and as we support the important work of the Land Trust. New Canaan has always been my home, and as Aaron mentioned, my family has lived here for 3 generations. Obviously, a lot of things have changed in that time, but thankfully, organizations like the Land Trust have ensured that it is always a beautiful place to return to. Personally, when I'm here, one of my favorite things to do is to take a walk with my dog at the Watson-Symington Preserve. It's just so beautiful, and when you're walking in those woods, it is very hard to believe that you're just a short car ride away from New York City. And it's amazing that the Land Trust has protected these special places and that everyone in our community has the privilege of access to them. Also, given this unusual moment in history, I want to emphasize that last point. We've all been doing our best to stay inside and stop the spread of COVID, and it's been a tough moment, and we also find ourselves in what I hope is a fundamental reckoning with regards to our nation's history with racism. It's tough out there, and for mental health in general in the United States, it's never been harder. So now, more than ever, having open, beautiful, quiet, contemplative places to go and feel safe and reconnect with nature is just so important, and I really do hope that everyone in the community feels that these places are theirs. I also applaud the Land Trust and Carriage Barn Arts Center for creating the New Canaan Sculpture Trail. It adds a whole new dimension to walking in the woods, and personally, I cannot wait to walk the labyrinth. So let's please raise a glass to all the work that the Land Trust does in New Canaan and to all of you who support their work. So thank you, and back to you, Aaron.
Thanks so much, Allison. So great to raise a glass with you, and thanks for joining us this evening. On that note, I'd like to transition to our first Fund a Need of the evening. While the opening of the New Canaan Sculpture Trail is our reason to celebrate, we're also gathered here this evening to help make a difference. As many of you know, one of the New Canaan Land Trust's flagship programs is our Summer Steward Internship. This will be our 7th summer offering the internship, which provides local high school students with a rewarding and enriching summer experience. I can go on about the program and all that we do, but thought that it would be better if you heard about the program from Nick Wyckoff, one of our program's alums.
Thank you, Aaron, for giving me an opportunity to talk a little bit about how the summer internship program impacted my life. I was fortunate to participate in the Land Trust internship program for 3 summers. For me, this internship gave me a real-world work experience and helped me to better understand the importance of land conservation and stewardship. For me, this internship gave me real-world work experience and helped me to better understand the importance of land conservation and stewardship. Through projects like trail maintenance and invasive species removal, my fellow interns and I learned what it really took to take care of the land. But the stewardship projects were only just one part of the internship. We also went on field trips to local conservation areas and met with environmental professionals. These opportunities helped inform me of the careers that existed within the environmental field and helped guide me towards my current studies in sustainable agriculture at the College of Worcester. Looking back, I now realize how influential this internship was for me, and I am so glad that others will be able to have similar experiences with the Land Trust going forward in the future. Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks, Nick. Nick's story is just one of many, as the Land Trust has worked with nearly 50 students over the last 7 years. Unfortunately, the success of this year's program is in jeopardy, as we recently lost a significant source of funding for the program. Today, we're asking for your help to bridge that gap. Now, I'll ask you to please make a gift towards this year's Summer Steward Internship. Simply scan the QR code and enter your donation into the form. Your support will ensure that this year's interns have the same great experiences that Nick did by allowing us to offer field trips, workshops, and meetings with professionals in the environmental field. That's in addition to all of the great stewardship work that our interns do to preserve our preserves that are open to the community. Your support will ensure that our interns have an amazing summer experience. It's great to see so many folks making donations. I'd like to thank everybody who's made a donation towards this cause, or we'll do so later this evening. I know we're moving sort of fast here, but the COVID-19 pandemic has changed the landscape for all nonprofits. So now we're more committed than ever to providing a rewarding summer experience for our local high school students. So thank you for making a donation. Thanks to Nick for joining us. And we look forward to a great summer with our interns. Now it's time for a little shift here. We're going to move on to the game portion of the evening. We're going to be doing a virtual scavenger hunt, which will require you to work together with other families to find a number of nature-themed items in your home. Here's how it'll work. In a few minutes, we're going to use Zoom's breakout rooms to place you and a couple of other families into a room. Each breakout room is a separate team, so you guys are going to be working together to find the items in the scavenger hunt list. In the chat window, we've posted a list of the items that you and your teammates will need to find. That list in the chat window will remain there when you get to your breakout room. You'll also see the list on your screen now, and you're welcome to take a picture of that with your smartphone or jot the list down. But again, the list will be there in the chat function once we go to our breakout rooms. So after you enter your breakout room and you say a quick hello to your fellow teammates, you're going to divide the list up amongst your fellow teammates and the households that are in your breakout room and try to find the items as quickly as possible. When you've collected all 7 items, you should leave your breakout room and return to this main screen. We'll verify that your team has found everything and completed the scavenger hunt. And the first team to gather all the items will win Land Trust goodie bags, which include native wildflower seeds, local maple syrup, and a branded new Canaan Land Trust water bottle. You'll have 7 minutes to complete the scavenger hunt before you're automatically returned to the main room. And you should see a timer in there to let you know when you're getting close to the end of your 7 minutes. So in just a second, you'll see a window asking you to join your breakout room. Once that pops up, you'll click Join Breakout Room, and you'll be brought to your room with your teammates. At that point, the scavenger hunt begins. So remember, the list will still be available in your chat window. And once you get into your breakout room, don't forget to turn on your audio and your video so that you can converse with your teammates and strategize. So with that, here we go. Welcome back, everybody. I know we had a little bit of technical difficulties with a few folks there, but hopefully you had a chance to meet the folks in your breakout room and do a little bit of a scavenger hunt. If you were one of the first groups to come back to the screen, let us know in the chat function. That way we can touch base with you and maybe get you some of those goodie bags. Unfortunately, I don't know who it was because I wasn't in the right room at the right time, but I'm sure you did great. I'm sure you all got to meet some new folks, which is really the point of this whole event. Continuing on with our evening, I'd like to introduce Ainsley and Brendan Hayes, who are New Canaan Land Trust members, and they live right down the street from the Land Trust's Calhoun Preserve. They've been New Canaan residents for over 11 years, and as you probably know, Brendan, from his role as the chairman and now vice chair of the Board of Ed, you might also know the Hayeses from their ongoing and quite impressive restoration of the Ponus Ridge Chapel right next to their home. So here are the Hayeses to say a few words about the Land Trust.
Hi, Aaron, thanks. Brendan and I are happy to join this fun party from our home on Ponus Ridge. While we've lived in New Canaan for some time, Brendan and I only recently became supporting members of the Land Trust. At heart, Brendan and I are preservationists. That includes open space as well as antique structures. Part of the reason that we wanted to support the Land Trust is we believe that the town of New Canaan really benefits from all the open space the Land Trust preserves and cares for.
We're huge fans of the community activities that the Land Trust has scheduled. Last year, we loved seeing the fireflies at the Firefly Sanctuary. It was amazing. If you haven't been, you absolutely have to go. Right in our neighborhood, actually, right behind our backyard is the Calhoun Preserve, which you saw earlier with Beth. We are delighted as well to be able to see the sculpture Basics number 39, which is right in the center of the meadow at the Calhoun Preserve. We go there often. We visit in all seasons, which is it's particularly great in the winter, actually, along with our 3 boys. The idea of combining art and nature adds a whole new dimension to visiting Land Trust preserves. We're really happy to toast the Sculpture Trail and the Land Trust and all that they do to make New Canaan the town that we love living in. So let's toast the Land Trust. Back to you, Aaron.
Thanks, Ainsley and Brendan, for those kind words. Let's take a drink. Well, with that brings us to our second and the final fund to need of this evening. I know many of you were generous with that first fund to need, and we're going to ask for your generosity again a second time this evening. As many of you know, college students around the country have had their summer plans turned upside down. Usually when the school year ends, students stay busy with summer jobs at nonprofits, startups, or summer camps. But this summer is different. Seasonal jobs and internships around the country have been canceled, leaving young adults looking for a way to develop their careers, learn new skills, and earn a bit of money. While the Land Trust isn't a frontline organization, we still want to be part of the response to these challenging times. With your support, the Land Trust will be able to create summer employment opportunities for local college students. Using our second Fund a Need page, I'll ask you to please make a new gift, this time towards the creation of 2 summer employment opportunities for local students. We've put a new QR code on the screen, so all you need to do is scan this new code with your phone's camera app and enter the information into the form. With your support, the Land Trust will create 2 seasonal positions, a preserve manager and a historian. The preserve manager will work in tandem with our high school interns, completing projects that require a bit more experience and training. With your support, the preserve manager will help to build new trails, improve wildlife habitat, and ensure that the Land Trust's special places remain a haven for our community and the wildlife that reside there. The second position, the historian, will organize and digitize the Land Trust's over half-century of historical records, including original photographs, newspaper articles, and letters from land donors. Once these historic records are digitized, the historian will create a booklet that illustrates the 53-year history of the Land Trust. The historian will also help to document the New Canaan Sculpture Trail so that we can look back fondly on this project in another 50 years. Your support ensured that our high school students will have a great summer. Now I'm asking for your generosity again to ensure that 2 college students can have a rewarding and enriching summer job with the Land Trust. Please use the QR code to make your gift to support these 2 new positions. Again, we'll give all this information as the event ends in case you've run into difficulties, but for those that did donate now, thank you so much. And for those that will donate after the event, thank you in advance. As I said earlier, we're more committed than ever to providing us a rewarding summer experience for the youth in our community. So thank you for enabling us to do this important work. I think that brings us towards the end of the Summer Sculpture Soirée. We're going to queue up one more poll that we had planned to do earlier, but while that happens, I'd like to thank our sponsors, our artists, our Sculpture Trail co-chairs, Beth and Nancy, and I'd like to thank you for joining us this evening. I'd also like to give a shout out to Bob Doran and the team at Innovia Media, who are behind the scenes making this whole thing happen. Lots of cuts between different speakers, and we did a great job, I think. And I'd also like to thank the New Canaan Library, who generously allowed us to use their Zoom platform this evening. So before I make some closing remarks, we'll offer that poll, hopefully. We just want to get a sense for if now that you've seen all the sculptures, you've seen the video, you've heard some of the artists, which sculpture are you most excited to go see? Maybe this weekend or next week sometime. So I see results are coming in. We've got a lot of folks interested in the labyrinth. I don't know if I can guarantee that you'll see the gorilla out there while you're there. What else? Bloom, that's another popular one. I would definitely recommend that if you've got kids. The colors on that is just an incredibly fun sculpture. But yeah, nice even split. Folks are really excited to go see many of the different sculptures we have. And that's sort of the beauty of this whole thing. You can pick and choose, go visit one this week, go visit one next week, and the sculptures will definitely be on view through October, some of them possibly a bit longer. Closing out the poll now to end on a high note, we've assembled a short montage illustrating the many ways that you as Land Trust supporters are helping to create positive change through the Land Trust. We're so grateful for your support and for spending your evening with us. If you're up for another drink, we'll have one more mixology lesson following the montage from the Land Trust's very own Eads Johnson. Eads is going to show us how to make a classic drink, but with a special twist. And so if you want to stick around from that, make sure you grab some ice, gin, dark rum, tonic, lime, and mint. Again, that's gin, dark rum, tonic, lime, and mint. We totally understand if you're zoomed out for the day. We tried to keep this as short as possible. I know I'm a little bit tired of being on Zoom, so we completely understand if you want to split, but again, we'll be making one more drink. Quick housekeeping note, our silent auction will automatically end at 9 p.m., so make sure you get those bids in before time runs out. The winners will be notified automatically on their phone, and we're going to follow up with everybody first thing on Monday. As I mentioned, we're also going to keep those Fund a Need pages open through the weekend. I know we kind of ran through that quickly, and we want to make sure that you're able to contribute if you didn't get a chance to scan the QR code and quickly enter your information. So we'll follow up with an email instruction for both the silent auction and the Fund a Need in case you ran into some technology issues this evening. So with that, thank you again for joining us. Thank you for celebrating with us. and for helping to create positive change in our community. We hope to see you out on the trail this summer. All right, it looks like we've still got about 60 people tuning in, so everybody's thirsty for another drink. As far as I'm concerned, the night is still young. I guess I still have to finish my first drink. I've been a little busy, but for those who are ready to continue the fun, we've asked Land Trust board member and expert mixologist Eads Johnson to lead us in making another cocktail. In case you didn't get a chance to grab those ingredients, you're gonna want some gin, tonic, dark rum, lime, and mint, because Eads is going to be showing us how to make a gin and tonic, but with a special twist. And so with that, I'll hand it over to Eads.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight, I'm going to be making it an old-time favorite. It's just a gin and tonic, but my father came up with a little bit of a twist decades ago that our family learned to love. So I'm going to start with a nice highball glass, bubble highball in this thing. I'm going to squeeze a generous portion of lime in it. To that, I'm going to add about 2 ounces of gin. Fresh tonic. Now this is Q from Brooklyn. I like it. It doesn't have high fructose corn syrup. I think it's made with agave. In there, I'm now going to put a generous bucket of ice. Leaving a little bit of room at the top, because this is a special touch. You can use Myers, you can use Gosling's. Not too much. My father liked this because what you actually end up doing is sipping the cocktail, gin and tonic, through the Myers rum. Add a sprig of mint from your garden, and you've got a drink that's as pleasing to the eye as it is to the palate. Cheers, everybody. Aaron, back to you.
Thanks, Eads. Unfortunately, I couldn't follow along. Still working on that first drink, but I'm sure it's delicious and definitely one I'm excited to try. We'll send that recipe out to everybody via email, again, along with the Fund and Need links, the link to the YouTube video for our Sculpture Trail video in case you want to watch the HD version of that. We're also recording this video, so in case you got here a little bit late, we'll have a recording. We'll be able to share that with you, hopefully in the near future. And so that wraps up our evening. Please remember to get those last minute bids in, as the silent auction is going to be ending automatically at 9 o'clock. Again, we'll be sending out information with some follow-up stuff within the next hour. But thank you. Thank you for joining us to celebrate the opening of the Sculpture Trail, to celebrate the start of summer. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.